This is the Range Rover Sport SV, a 2.95 crore rupee SUV that wants to defy physics while making a racket. With this lovely sunrise copper paint and the carbon pack selected, it has the drama, albeit with the Range Rover subtlety. But the bumpers are sporty, the 22-inch wheels are stunning enough to not need the optional 23 inches, you get carbon fiber peppered all around, the SV badge that stands out in white and the quad exhaust that give it added muscle. A beautifully restrained look, but with an intimidating demeanor. But like a peaky blinder, you can be assured it packs firepower under that stealth suit.
And this is the core reason why someone would pick an SV over the standard Range Rover Sport, a 4.4 litre twin turbo V8. Performance over everything. So let's start with that, shall we? Now naturally, the first thing you'd want to do when you get into this car is hit that SV button, big one right here on the steering. Press that, it glows red, so do these transparent bits on the paddle shifters. The dials glow red as well, the engine becomes more audible. Basically a warning that what you've just done is let loose that 4.4 litre twin turbo V8, and now there is no holding back. Slight flex, the engine, that roar, the growl from the V8, and the response is immediate. But there is good news and there is bad news, and I'll tell you the good news first. So for the good news, you have 635 horsepower at your disposal, 750 Newton meters going to all four wheels, permanent all-wheel drive, and an 8-speed automatic that sends that power. 0 to 100, claim time of 3.9 seconds, top speed of 290 kph. But to be very honest, numbers don't really do justice. I mean, they're just facts and figures. The sensation from behind the wheel, the sense of speed is incredible. Because you don't expect this kind of performance from where you're sitting, from something that is high, that is big, that is heavy. And when it's doing 3.9 seconds, when you put your foot down, it does become quite a handful. But of course, there's a bit of a learning curve with this car. It's not your traditional sports car or sports sedan. It's not low to the ground. So getting used to the physics takes a bit of time, but it has all the help you'd ever need to keep it nice and flat. Now, performance is all well and good, but when you need drama, this V8 definitely comes into its own. It has that lovely growl from around 1800 RPM, and it just builds till you don't have a road to go anymore. So you really have to find some space, and of course those chimes will keep coming in because it is so quick to 100, 120 that you basically run out of road. 6,500 RPM is the red line, and to be honest, till about 5,000 the engine is throaty, it's aggressive, but after that it does become not as pleasant. The whine is just too strong. It's not a nice sound at the top end, so you'd want to shift around 5,500 RPM and make most of that grunge. So big ups on performance, big ups on drama and the exhaust note, and of course then we get to the handling. Now you'd expect it to handle like a big bulky SUV, lots of roll, leaning into the corners, pitching and diving every time you brake and accelerate, but that is not the case. Range Rover has ensured none of that happens, especially in the SV mode, because what you get is something called a 6D suspension. Now, sounds very clever, sounds very tricky, and it is quite complicated. I could do a whole different video of just explaining what it is. Essentially, its job is to keep everything flat. No matter what happens, the body has to stay flat. If you enter a corner, if you're going over crests and troughs, doesn't matter. And to be honest, it works beautifully. It is superbly balanced. The calibration is absolutely on point. So no matter how tight the turn, I'm not going like this or like that. No matter how hard I brake, I'm not diving forward. It really makes a big difference. And then you have the steering, of course, lots of heft that is gained in this SV mode, and it is very sharp and agile as well. So even the slightest movement and the whole car darts his nose around.
While the stability is good, it does not feel light, and you do notice the weight in the corners. Grip and traction is good, but it does not shrink around you.
But the bad news is that this car, although has a lot of racetrack pedigree, in real world conditions it's not going to be tracked that often. To be honest, if you're one of those that really take their track time seriously, you probably have a car that's meant for the track, that's better balanced, low to the ground, lighter. It's not like you buy a Range Rover thinking, you know what, I like track days, I need myself a Range Rover. But on the off chance you do end up on a track, you'll have fun. Sadly, that is not the case for most of the time. In fact, 99% of the time, this car is going to be out on B roads, country roads, your occasional farmhouse trip, your breakfast drives, and for that, this SV suspension is not ideal. It is far too stiff, and just every bump and pothole is felt inside the cabin. And then you have the engine, which is absolutely on song, no matter the RPM, no matter the speed. Slight flex in your right foot and it just lunges ahead. The gearbox is very aggressive as well, so every shift is felt through the neck, and that's not ideal when you're driving every day to work. Mercifully, Range Rover has ensured that there's an individual mode in there through which you can customize your car setup. So basically you can have the engine in dynamic, which means you get decent amount of power and poke. You can have the steering in comfort, which is nice and light, and you can have the suspension in comfort as well, which means over every pothole you don't have to be bouncing around. And the best bit, you can have the exhaust in its more aggressive setting as well, so you have those nice pops and bangs every time you lift off. So not shy of drama, can make your everyday mundane drive to work fun. And then in comfort mode, it is quite adept. Yes, it is on 22-inch wheels. The tire profile is not great. So compared to the standard Range Rover Sport, it's definitely firm. But if you opt for the bigger 23-inch wheels, which is an optional extra, then that's going to be a problem. Even comfort mode is not going to be able to help. So the best suggestion would be to keep it at 22s. It looks nice and proportionate, very swanky, doesn't matter. You get a bit of cushion for your everyday ride as well. And then this is the most balanced setting. You have everything according to your liking. And speaking of some optional extras, you have carbon ceramic brakes as options as well. They are not ticked on this car. Now the braking is nice and strong, no issues, but when you have a 2.5 ton SUV going at that speed, accelerating and decelerating so fast, you need to ensure that your brake life is high. And nothing is better than carbon ceramics. So that is an option to take, an expensive option nevertheless, but it is worth it. Now once you've set your profile, everything is according to your liking. We also appreciate what's around it. The interior is fantastic. Build quality and materials overall are just right up there. So you don't want to compromise on anything, and you don't have to.
The dark upholstery is fitting of the theme of the car, and every touch point screams quality. The dark chrome, piano black and focus on stealth does the job very well. You also have a 13.1-inch PV Pro infotainment that is slick to use and has tasteful interface as well. Good news, since almost every single function is controlled through it. Plenty of data and telemetry and controls to the stunning Meridian signature audio system. There is an off-road mode too for the brave souls who would like to venture off the tarmac every once in a while.
Back seat, now of course that's not going to be the primary seat for you. If you're buying a Range Rover Sport SV, this is where you want to be, and this is where you should be, because back there, I mean, yeah, it's great. Space is very good. Even for tall adults, you can seat 3 abreast very easily. Seats are nice and comfortable. They get electronic recline as well. You've got sun blinds, 2-zone climate control, panoramic sunroof. So like I mentioned, nothing that you miss on this SV. But all these things are about logic, and you know, when you're talking about a car like this, logic usually goes out the door. So what's the verdict? Well, at 2.95 crore rupees, it definitely is a lot of money. It definitely has a lot of rivals as well. You've got the Aston Martin DBX, you've got the Audi RSQ8, you've got the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, there is the Lamborghini Urus. I mean, there are a lot. And the biggest one in its own stable, the Defender Octa. Same engine, same sort of suspension, and a lot more character. So this definitely has to fight. But that said, I don't think it will have to work too hard, because cars like these are thankfully getting lapped up. India is a growing market when it comes to performance cars. Even though we are moving towards electrification and flex fuel, there are still enough lunatics out there who will pay that kind of money for this car, and thank God for that, because a few years down the line, I don't think you'll get to see big brutish V8s in big SUVs. So while it is there, please buy one. And of course, it's gonna be a heart over the head, because that is what you need with a car like this. And that's, I think, what Range Rover also did when it built the SV. It gave it the heart that will excite you, and it said, you know what, forget the head for a moment. Just enjoy from right here.